I'm Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
And we're going for a drive.
(2019) BMW M850i
X-Drive Coupe.
So this is brand new for 2019. Let's hit them with the horsepower and torque.
523 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque from a 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8.
This thing pulls like a friggin' freight train.
Yes, it does. But before we make it pull like a freight train, I am in the most gangster position in my gangster jacket because I feel like a gangster in this car.
Yeah, you pretty much have to lean back because if you don't, your face is gonna hit the roof.
Exactly. But I'm gonna take my jacket off because it's actually really hot in here. Now that my jacket's off, send. This is so fast. Like ridiculously fast.
Do you think this is faster than that S-Class convertible we drove?
100%. Like way faster.
I think it'd be close.
No, it's not even close. I can give you the statistics right now, actually.
Hit me with it.
0 to 100 kilometers in 3.7 seconds in this. The S560 does it in 4.5 seconds, a full second slower. That's horrible.
So I guess this would have to compete with the AMG S-Class to be on the same level.
The S63 does it in 3.5 seconds, 0.2 seconds faster than this one.
But it's way more expensive.
Yes, exactly. We're gonna talk a lot about the S-Class in this review. This thing is ridiculously fast for being an M performance, not a full M model.
Because there is no M model yet, there's just the convertible and the coupe.
Apparently it's supposed to come later this year, and that is gonna be absolutely wild. Over 600 horsepower, it's gonna be insane.
And then they'll probably make a Grand Coupe, which just means the two-door model but four doors, like the 4 Series Grand Coupe.
Yes.
Coupe.
There's gonna be like 50 models of this thing.
Whatever. This thing, okay, should we get into looks first? Because this thing looks pretty wild.
Might as well.
Do you like it?
I like it, I don't love it.
Do you like it more than an S-Class?
No.
Neither do I. But I think this looks totally wicked, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the looks at all.
But it just doesn't wow me like the S-Class did.
This does wow me from certain angles, though.
Certain angles helps, and my least favorite angle I have figured out is when I'm standing and I'm looking at it. When I'm crouched down and I'm looking at it from like almost eye level to the headlights, that's when it looks really good.
Whenever I can see the body line perfectly on the door, that's my favorite. You can get it from the front, you can get it from the back, but then there's a lot of angles where it just looks milky and washed out.
So the side angle is the one where it looks like a Mustang, right?
Yes, but I do like getting a little bit of the back in it, so you see that big fat rear quarter panel.
The quarter panels are super fat and they look awesome.
And then if you get this perfect drone shot, you get the perfect amount of shadow and light, and it looks really good from above and behind, but you don't really get to see it from that view in real life.
Exactly. And that would be a nice place to see the carbon fiber roof, which is an option on this car that we have.
Let's talk about the front end.
Front end is good, but it just looks too much like a 6 Series to me.
I agree, but it does look very BMW. It's got a blacked out front kidney grille. This kidney grille is not gigantic like the memes going on the internet right now.
Yeah, this is not quite meme level yet. Headlights look good, and they're laser lights, which are in Canada, so everyone's freaking out. They're like, how'd you guys get laser headlights? We got laser lights, but they don't shoot as far down the road as they do in Europe.
Slightly less laser lights. And I really like how when you move around, it like lights up parts that don't have like light bulbs or stuff in them.
Yeah, it looks cool.
It's confusing, but I love it. What I also like about the front end is there are no fake vents at all on the front.
Yeah, everything's functional.
Then we've got our radar at the bottom, which gets covered in snow, and I couldn't use my cruise control stuff.
Well, yeah, Canada.
Then we also have some functional vents on the fenders.
Yeah, at first I was like, are these real? Yep, they're real.
And now let's head to the back end. So you like those big rear quarter panels.
I do.
I like how the rear end sticks out kind of like the 6 Series.
Yes, exactly.
But we've got this like tiny little spoiler on top, but I think it looks good.
It looks good. It just doesn't look crazy good.
The taillights are pretty normal. I think it's just a good looking BMW.
Exactly.
That's big.
But it's just not good enough for me for being a flagship.
Do you feel like the roof from the outside isn't as tall as it should be? Like it's not super proportional?
I don't really notice that at all.
To me, it looks like it should be taller, but I don't know. I like the way it looks. But one of my favorite parts is that BMW badge at the back, how it sticks out and the body panel molds around it.
That is pretty cool, actually. And one of my least favorite parts about the rear end is that exhaust. Just ridiculous. Like, what were they thinking?
Like, it would almost be cooler to have just the dual exhaust in it and no thing around it.
Yeah, but then they put square tips, and that's what AMG does. So it's like, I don't know what they're doing here.
How about the wheels?
Before we actually talk about the wheels, today's sponsor, Super Speed Wheels.
So Super Speed Wheels is a Canadian owned and operated company that just does awesome wheels.
You guys know how much I love wheels. We actually got a wheel sponsor.
So they gave us a shout because they're fans of the show and they're Canadians. So guess what wheels we got on our cars?
Super Speed Wheels RF03RR.
How much thicker does my Element look?
Your Element actually looks really good right now.
I do need to dump it. I think it would look way cooler.
I love my Lexus though. The GS430 just looks so gangster in the winter. It's perfect. The wheels fit the car so well. What I think is the best part about Super Speed wheels is they actually offer flow-formed wheels throughout their entire lineup, and they're reasonably priced. Flow-formed wheels, without getting too technical, makes them lighter and stronger.
They've got a bunch of different styles, sizes, both patterns, and a lot of new stuff coming up, so check out the website, superspeedwheels.com.
And obviously we had to throw on some Continental Winter Contact SI tires onto our wheels. Love these tires.
They're very good winter tires. I've got so much control in my Element. I'm so excited to get some more snowfall so I can do some more Element drifting.
Yeah, and I haven't got stuck in my rear-wheel drive GS430, so perfect.
Back to these wheels.
Okay, so these wheels, not my favorite. I would actually like some Super Speed wheels on here, honestly though.
I like these wheels a lot. I think the pattern's cool, looks very future. I think it fits this car very well.
I think they're too plain for this car. But that's about it for looks overall. I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think it definitely looks good. I think it's kind of weird. A lot of people were looking at it, but I really, really like it. And I like this color.
Because they were probably thinking, oh, is that the new 6 Series?
Yo, whatever. You like the color?
I like the color.
It's definitely the best color.
I don't love it, I like it. Now I gotta talk about some performance. I'm gonna launch this thing.
Sport Plus.
Send, oh my God. It's so ridiculously fast. Okay.
This car should not be this fast for being this big.
It shouldn't be. So BMW is playing the game of doing a sports car in the luxury segment. So they're making this way sportier than every other luxury car in the segment.
Well, you can tell how sport it is right away when you start it up because it's so loud.
It sounds pretty good. So this car has fixed a lot of issues that I had with the BMW M5. That is probably my least favorite M car currently. This, even though it's an M Performance, the exhaust sounds way better inside and out, and the steering is way better. They actually fixed it.
But this one doesn't crackle and pop in high RPMs. Like only when you're going low and let off does it burble.
Exactly.
Didn't the M5 kind of give you a lot more?
It didn't sound as good though. I don't want any of that stuff. It sounded so digital. This thing is a little bit fake as well. It pumps it into the cabin, but it doesn't sound as fake, and I actually don't mind it.
How about compared to the M2 competition?
I think this sounds better as an exhaust, but I still like that car way more.
Man, that car is the best.
Yeah, exactly. That's a driver's car. This is just like a cruiser car. This is actually a gentleman's racer, is what BMW calls it.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's actually a very cool way to describe it. I think that's a 100% accurate.
And we do have an 8-speed transmission. It is a ZF, and it is perfect. No issues with this transmission.
What I really like about the transmission, if you hit the stick to the left, then you're in manual mode.
And it shifts so much faster. And then if we look at our tack, the tack is on the right side. Not my favorite.
They should put the tack on the left because everyone's used to counting it up that way. They should put the speed on the right, but not change it the other way. Just keep it the same. Like, I like 2 bubbles.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of these gauges at all. Back to this transmission. So if you put it in manual mode, the shifts are so much faster. When you downshift, those revs move so quickly.
And then if you push it to the left and don't touch the paddles, then it'll be in S mode for shifting.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think of the drive modes?
The drive modes are okay. They're not my favorite, but I can customize it, so that's fine. I have my individual mode.
So we've got Sport, and then we've got Sport Plus if we click Sport again. I just kept it in Sport Plus when I was trying to hoon around. And then other than that, Comfort, Eco, and Adaptive. The thing about Adaptive is it kind of covers everything. You know, you got lower RPMs on the highway, and then when you want to rip around, it knows you're ripping around and shifts quicker.
But then the exhaust doesn't sound as good. And we do have adaptive suspension, and there's a pretty decent difference between Comfort and Sport Plus. Sport Plus is actually still fine in this. Like, it's still not that stiff. It's fairly stiff, but it's not that stiff.
Everything's comfy.
But it's way more stiff than the S560. Like, way more.
Now let's talk about traction control. We do have 3 different modes. We have traction on. We can click the button for sport traction and then turn it all the way off if we hold it.
My favorite is just clicking it once.
I like turning it off because it feels like it's just a rear-wheel drive car. Like, it feels like you floor, you're pretty much doing like a burnout.
Yeah, so this is all-wheel drive. It is X-Drive, but it feels very, very rear-wheel drive biased. Like, it bogs down on launches.
The fact that when you turn that off, if you're in like your own snowy parking lot that you own and you do a donut, it does like perfect rear-wheel drive donuts with enough control from the all-wheel drive system.
I really enjoyed doing those donuts. And now we gotta test the suspension in Cliche Corner. I'm gonna downshift and I'm gonna send it. We're gonna put it in sport traction and see what happens, and it gets a little squirrely. Like, you gotta be quick on those corrections because this is a big car and it feels pretty heavy.
Now compared to Mercedes's, one traction control off is so much better in BMW than Mercedes. Mercedes need to be fully off, and even then, it gives you the business a little bit.
100%. This is way better traction control than Mercedes. And we're talking about AMGs, not just regular Mercedes. AMGs.
Yeah. I don't think we drive regular Mercedes.
Yeah, we did, a couple of them.
We're pretty spoiled. Thank God. Hey, by the way, crossover season.
Ah, I hate
Done.
crossovers.
Back in the good ones.
Yes.
We're gonna turn into an exotics channel soon.
But overall, the steering is very good. It's pretty light for a BMW, probably because it's this type of car. But I'm gonna let you drive, talk about all that stuff, and get to this crystal shifter.
Crystal shifter into driving.
Oh my God.
All right, so it's got the thunder claps on every upshift.
Yes, it does. The exhaust sounds really good for a BMW.
The headrests move forward and back. You should really adjust them so they're full forward because your head always snaps back.
True.
Should we start with the interior then?
Yes, we should.
This one's all black, kind of plain. I've seen white ones. They look pretty nice.
Yeah, it looks all right.
How do you feel in here?
I feel very claustrophobic on the passenger side.
It's very close to your head in here, even for me, and I've got my seats so far down.
Yeah, I'm gonna put mine at the lowest setting right now. Exactly the same.
Okay, so this is a 4-seater, but the back seats don't even fit me behind myself, which kind of sucks.
It's a 4-seater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Neither of us fit back there.
But in the E400 Coupe, the rear seats had so much room, the convertible didn't. So like, I'd expect this to have more room. I don't know what the back seat of a S-Class Coupe is like.
I feel like it would be pretty similar, maybe a little bit more.
Back of the S Coupe, lots of room, no B-pillars. So inside here, we've got this crystal shifter you were talking about.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
So it has a crystal shifter with a button, 2 buttons, everything Volvo did wrong.
Exactly. You said that they couldn't do it because they would have to put a button into a crystal shifter. Well, BMW did it and they made it work.
Yeah, so kudos to you, BMW. Then we've got piano black buttons here to control our modes and everything. Pretty standard BMW stuff. If you've been in other ones, it's very similar.
Pretty standard, disgusting piano black.
Yeah, it's really gross. This is like the most gross out I've ever been.
You finally had a revelation. You're on my team now.
I feel sick. I feel like the guy who cleaned this for us put hair gel in his hair and then used that hand to clean everything.
That's what I've been thinking of gloss black for the last 2 years.
What's very cool though is our control knob here is like a mirror with diamond stuff in it.
And so is our start engine stop button. Looks awesome.
Very fancy.
But I'm kind of conflicted because this is kind of a sports car-ish thing and they have like this super luxury thing. So it's like a mix of both.
Then the infotainment and stuff is pretty standard BMW, but this one is the newer infotainment like the 3 Series we drove in Portugal.
Yes, and the new X5 apparently also has this.
So the menu is kind of different. I don't like it. I think the older style, like the M2 competition we drove, was the sweet spot, which I think is very cool when the sweet spot is an older model.
Yeah, I agree, because there's just too many menu options, too many settings. You can swipe up from the top and all that stuff. I don't like it as much.
This one does have the voice command that can say, hey BMW. We did turn it off because if we said it right now, it would pop in. But it's missing some cool features, like I can't say, vitalize me. It says, program not available.
This function is currently not available.
Hey BMW, tell me a joke.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I seem to be somewhat hard of hearing.
It kind of has some stuff, but not other things.
And what else can't you do? You have a camera in here that's supposed to watch your eyes and then operate the cruise control, but it doesn't let you do that either.
So this camera is meant to keep an eye on your eyes so that when you're using cruise control, I think in the 3 Series, they said you could take your hands off the wheel in North America under 50 kilometers an hour. I tried it in here with it on and off in cruise control under 50. It didn't really make any difference at all. So I don't know what's up with that. If anyone at BMW wants to show me how this thing works and show me tests, I would love to do it. But let's talk about cruise control then. Keeps you in your lane, it's pretty good.
It can also change lanes for you.
Yes, with a half click of the turn signal. But this does not work as well as Mercedes cruise control, I think.
I agree.
This one feels like it's a person looking 10 feet in front of them while driving, where Mercedes is looking like 100 feet in front.
Does the infotainment rewind satellite radio?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
But they changed something. So before I could set my number 8 to go to time shift. Now when I click 1 for station, it'll kick me out of time shift into this mode here, which is kind of cool because now you can actually see all the songs and stations playing.
But you know what this still doesn't have? Android Auto. Ridiculous.
But you know what is ridiculous? It takes a while to set up your Apple CarPlay. You need to connect through Wi-Fi and Bluetooth now. It's still wireless, so you do get lag if you're watching like a YouTube video, but I found a new way to disconnect it. You just go to your communications tab and then you disconnect your iPhone from the menu every time you want to use it, and it's a little faster than going through your phone.
There you go. And for the rest of this interior, the material quality is very good, no issues with that, but it just doesn't wow me just like the exterior. Like the S-Class does wow me. It looks so good, and this just kind of looks like a 3 Series bigger.
Very true. We do have lights in here as well, which I think makes it look good. The fact that we have an orange exterior, we put orange lights in here, all our other buttons light up orange, I think that's my favorite color for the lights here.
I like the blue one in here.
But they're not as fancy as Mercedes lights. They don't swoop around like Mercedes do.
And that's the thing, it's just this weird middle ground, trying to be a sports car, trying to be a luxury car, but it doesn't really do either one that well.
But overall, it's like super sick.
It is. It's just a lot of money to spend on something like this that isn't super one or the other. It's just kind of in between.
But it's kind of nice to have something that can do everything. Like, the trunk is gigantic. You can fit so much stuff back there.
The trunk is bigger than an S-Class.
So, like, I don't know, like, it's got a lot of positive things about it. Like,
Sure
a
it does.
lot.
Sure it does, but not for me.
Good thing we're poor. Can't afford anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Patreon.com, TheStraightPipes. Buy him a Raptor, buy me a Prowler. So this does have wireless charging, which would work well for an iPhone that had wireless charging. Mine doesn't.
Works well for my Android phone.
But what's cool about it is it's so hard to get a phone in there that once you get it in there, you'll never text and drive. So that's good.
Yeah, and I could have my Google Maps in there because I can't have my USB cable there because the USB cable's in a stupid spot, just like it is in every other BMW.
Oh, we got USB-C in here.
Yeah, that's nice.
There's one thing I found really funny about the gauges. So if we click our BC button, we can go through a couple different modes on the right. We can see our economy, we can see our horsepower, torque, trip, G-meter. But we can also see is whatever I'm playing from my iPod, I can see the album art here. So I can have Smash Mouth showing instead of my gears.
But you can actually see it way at the bottom, just not very clear.
Yeah, like so small. It's smaller than the temperature.
It is pretty small.
So I've got two more complaints about this that the S-Class got right. This doesn't have seatbelt givers. You really need to lean back to get it, which is kind of annoying.
100% agree.
B-pillars.
Yeah, it has them.
Yeah, S-Class Coupe does not, and neither does the E400 Coupe.
Yeah, that is a nice thing. It makes the car look so much better and feel so much better inside.
If this thing had no B-pillars, man.
So that's about it. Let's talk about pricing competitors.
Hit me with the price.
This starts at $123,500. This one is optioned out to $138,800.
I feel like it's a pretty good price because an S-Class Coupe is a lot more expensive.
S-Class starts at $156,000, so this is actually good value for your money, which is insane.
Yeah, and this is faster than an S-Class that's not an AMG.
Exactly, and the S63 AMG starts at $185, so you're getting almost S63 levels of performance for a lot less money. But another competitor enters the ring, Lexus LC500.
It looks cool. I want to drive one and then I'll know for sure.
Way better value.
Potentially, but it probably has a trackpad.
We'll have to find out.
Yeah, and then what about an S65? Where does that come in for price?
Let's not talk about that.
$250,000.
Yeah, it's like $250,000. So would you take this or an S-Class or a Lexus LC500 or something else?
I'd probably go with an S-Class. I would probably even go with an E400 Coupe.
I would go with an S-Class or a Lexus LC500 for sure. This is way faster than both of those. This is actually value for money, which is crazy to say about a BMW that costs over $100,000.
If I was interested in speeding, I'd probably take this. Like if
Yeah.
I was more of a race car guy.
A gentleman racer?
If I was a gentleman racer, I would have no choice but to grab this thing.
It is a very accurate description, which makes me think, did they design the car to be a gentleman racer or did marketing tell them to make it a gentleman racer? Was it engineering or was it marketing that decided that?
Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get our videos on Tuesdays and Fridays at 8 a.m.
Check out patreon.com/TheStraightPipes to get early access to videos, join our YouTube membership, and check out our Teespring store. Check out our merch.
I'm Yuri.
I'm Jacob.
And we're going for a drive. This is a subscription break. Don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe right now. Subscribe. We didn't do that.
After the credits visor test, we actually forgot.
Yeah, we totally forgot for once.
3, 2, 1.
Fail. We knew it anyways. That's why we forgot.
And it does fit a medium cup of gas station coffee. I don't know what to tell you.
Sorry, guys.